All right, let's be real. Shipping code can be, well, pretty nerve-wracking, right? But what if you could automate the whole thing? Make it faster, safer, and just easier? Well, you can. And today we're going to build our very first CI/CD pipeline, and we're going to use one of the coolest tools out there, something that lives right inside your code repository, GitHub Actions. So let's dive in. Okay, here's a quick look at where we're headed. We're going to start with the pain of doing things by hand, then we'll find a better way with CI/CD. We'll get to know GitHub Actions, break down a real pipeline, see how it all works, and then figure out what you can do next. Sound good? First things first, let's talk about something I'm sure many of you have felt, the absolute drag of deploying code manually. You know the scene, right? It's release day. You're SSH'd into a server, you're manually copying files, you're running a bunch of commands from some checklist, and you're just praying you didn't miss a single step or make one tiny typo. It's so stressful, it's boring, and let's be honest, it's just asking for trouble. And that really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? It's not just that it's slow and repetitive. It's that it's a total minefield for human error. You're basically rolling the dice every single time. Did I get the right version of that file? Did I run that command at the right time? That inconsistency, that stress, that's exactly what we're here to fix with automation. So, okay, how do we get out of this mess? Well, we build an assembly line, a production line, but for our code. And that brings us to automation with CI/CD. So what is a CI/CD pipeline? It's exactly what it sounds like, an automated process. Just think about it. Every time you push a change to your code, a whole series of steps just happens. It builds everything, it runs all your tests to make sure you didn't break anything, and then it deploys it. And the most important part, it does the exact same thing perfectly, every single time. No more, oops, I forgot that step. Now look, there are a ton of tools out there for this. You've got Jenkins, AWS Code Pipeline, you name it. But today, we're going to focus on one that is super powerful and just so convenient. Let's meet GitHub Actions. This right here is the absolute game changer. With GitHub Actions, your automation isn't on some other server you have to maintain. Nope. It's just a a simple file that lives right inside your repository, right next to your code. It gets versioned, it gets reviewed, it's just part of your project. And that makes everything from getting started to working with a team so much easier. So, why is this the perfect place to start? I'll give you 3 really good reasons. One, it's totally integrated. Like we just said, everything lives in a little folder called .github/workflows. That's it. 2, it's written in YAML, which is just a super simple human-readable format. And 3, and this is a big one, the community. There's a huge library of pre-built actions for almost anything you can imagine. Want to log into your cloud provider, build a container? Yep, there's an action for that. All right, enough talk. Let's actually get our hands dirty and look at some code. We're going to build our very first workflow file line by line. Okay, here it is. Take a look. It's just 8 lines of code. That's it. This is a complete working pipeline. Now, if you've never seen YAML before, it might look a little weird with all the spacing, but trust me, in just a minute, every single one of these lines is going to make total sense. I promise. Let's break this down. First, you've got the trigger, on push. Super simple. It just tells GitHub, hey, anytime someone pushes code, run this. Okay, what do we run? We run jobs. Think of a job as a container for a bunch of steps. We've called our job build. Now, every job needs a computer to run on, right? That's the runner. Here we're saying runs on Ubuntu latest, which means GitHub will spin up a fresh virtual machine with the latest version of Ubuntu for us. And finally, what do we actually do on that machine? That's what steps are for. They're the individual tasks that we're going to execute, one after the other. Okay, this next part is really important. Inside our steps, you'll see 2 main kinds of commands, uses and run. Think of it this way. Uses is like importing a library or a tool someone else built. That action/checkout at v3, that's a super common pre-built action that grabs your code and puts it on the virtual machine. You'll use it in almost every workflow. On the other hand, run is for your stuff. It just executes whatever command line script you give it. In our case, a simple echo deploying. So uses for powerful, reusable tasks, and run for your simple custom commands. You'll be using both all the time. Okay, so we've looked at the code. Now, let's put it all together and see what actually happens. This is the it just works moment. So here's the flow, step by step. You, the developer, you type git push.
Instantly, GitHub sees that push. It finds our deploy.yaml file and says, aha, time to work. It spins up a totally fresh Ubuntu machine in the cloud. The very first thing it does is run our checkout action to pull all of your latest code onto that machine. Then it moves to the next step and executes our run command. Now, obviously, our echo deploying is just a placeholder, but you can imagine replacing that with real commands to, build your project, run your tests, and push it to a server. And boom, that's it. It's a complete automated flow, all kicked off by a simple push.
And honestly, that's pretty much it. You now know the core concepts of building a CI/CD pipeline with GitHub Actions. Pretty cool, right? So, where do we go from here? I love this quote because it really gets to the point. What we did today was super simple, right? Just a little hello world for deployment, but these are the fundamental building blocks. You can take these same ideas, these uses and run steps, and combine them to do, well, anything. You can build complex software, run thousands of tests, package it up, and ship it out to the world. The sky's the limit. So I'll leave you with a little piece of homework. Think about your own projects. Think about that one boring, tedious, repetitive task you hate doing. Now that you know how this works, what's the first thing you're going to automate? I'm excited to see what